Chapter 8. Look, Paul Garner said, pointing from behind the pitcher's mound as Hutch and Cody came walking out of the parking lot at Calusa Park toward the field named after Lou Gehrig. Isn't that the kid I saw in Sports Center last night? Don't start, Hutch yelled back. Garner, grinning, said, You must be joking. I'm just getting started. Hank Harding, who usually didn't say much more than nice hit or nice play, joined right in. I recognize the second generation star, he said, putting air quotes with his fingers around second generation star. But who's the guy with him? Brett said, The ugly guy? Never saw him before. Cody made a bring it on motion with his hands. Go ahead, make your silly comments, you little boys, he said. Me and the star can take it. Hutch turned. You too? Cody shrugged. Slipped out. Do you plan to practice with us today, Hutch? Alex Reyes said. Or are you too tired from carrying us to victory? Can we get you something? Brett said. Something to drink, maybe? A new bike? Hank said. If you want to rest on your laurels and take it easy, Paul said, that's fine with us. Wait, I've got an idea, Cody said. Why don't all you comedians kiss his laurels? Hutch laughed along with everybody else. Eventually, his teammates let up on him, and they all started to warm up, the conversation shifting to their next game against Sarasota to be played down in Fort Lauderdale. Darrell was the last one to show up right before Mr. Cullen did. As usual, it was as if he just appeared out of nowhere or got beamed in the way guys did in one of the old Star Trek shows that Hutch liked to watch on the Sci-Fi Channel. They'd just look up and there would be Darrell, bat bag slung over his shoulder, wearing his Nike flip-flops. Even if it was one of their late practices, way after the sun had gone down, he'd still be wearing some pair of cool sunglasses, never the same pair 2 days in a row. Hutch didn't know a lot about fashion or what things cost, but Cody did, and he had told Hutch one day that the pair of Oakley glasses Darrell was wearing cost more than both their baseball gloves combined. Today, Darrell was wearing the kind of glasses you sometimes saw big leaguers wearing, the kind that just seemed to fit your face like a mask, even though they weren't really attached anyplace. A-Rod glasses, Cody said. Very cool. Just not as cool as Darrell. They watched from the field as Darrell sat down on the bench. Let them all see him taking a brand new pair of black Nike baseball shoes out of the box, holding them up and admiring them before he started lacing them up, taking his time doing that as if the laces had to be perfect. You've got a hand to the guy, Hutch thought. He is cool. A couple of minutes before practice, and he still acted as if he had all day to gear up. Brett was hitting fly balls to the outfielders, and Hutch was out there shagging with him just for the fun of it. On time for Darrell, Cody said, is pretty much when he gets here. He's not late, Hutch said, so just chill. Cody was already dripping wet with sweat, as he usually was about 5 minutes after he started doing any kind of running. Chill, he said. In this heat, outstanding advice. Cody ran back a few steps, then backhanded a ball, threw it all the way into Brett on one bounce. For a guy who'd mostly played second base in his life, he had a surprisingly good arm. And then said to Hutch, I just hope Darrell sticks up for you the way you do for him, especially when you're not around. We're on the same team, Hutch said. Why wouldn't he? Because even though we're on the same team, dude, he acts as if he's in a whole different league than the rest of us. That's why. It was time for what Mr. Collin called their situation room drills. Situation room drills were game situations. Coach would leave the regular defense out there and use a couple of the pitchers and guys off the bench to run the bases. Sometimes it would be one guy on base, sometimes two, sometimes bases loaded. Then Mr. Cullen would call out how many outs there were, what inning it was, and what the score was before hitting the ball somewhere. If it were a single to the outfield with, say, two runners on, the guy picking up the ball would have to make a decision about trying to throw a runner out at either third or home. If he had no play, he'd be expected to throw it to the right base or hit the cutoff man. Or else. Or else they'd do the exact same play again and keep doing it until they got it right. The base runners had to make the right decisions too, read where the ball was and who was throwing it before they'd try to take an extra base or try to run all the way home. Sometimes Mr. Cullen would keep the play in the infield, put a runner on first, another on third, saying a double play ended a one-run game. On plays like that, he'd put a runner behind Brett, let him take off for first as soon as the ball was hit. Right now it was first and third, nobody out. Mr. Cullen rocketed one up the gap right in right center between Alex Reyes and Cody, neither one of them having a chance to catch the ball on the fly. It landed between them and looked like it was going to make it all the way to the wall before Cody cut it off with a sliding stop. Then he scrambled to his feet and made a perfect cutoff throw to Hutch, who'd nearly sprinted all the way out to Cody's normal position in right to meet the ball. Home! Hutch heard from behind him, not just one voice, but a lot of them. As soon as Hutch had the ball in his glove, he was transferring it to his throwing hand as quickly as he did when trying to turn a fast double play, was wheeling and throwing the ball toward Brett without even looking, as if his teammates were right about him when they said he had eyes in the back of his head. From where he was in short right, he shouldn't have been able to get it to Brett on the fly without setting himself. But he did. Paul Gardner, who had pretty good speed, was the runner trying to score all the way from first, but when he saw how badly the throw had beaten him, he didn't even slide. No point. When Hutch jogged back to second, Darrell came over and got down on his knees and started making the "I'm not worthy" motion you saw fans making in the stands at sporting events sometimes. "Oh, Captain," he said, "no wonder the papers and the TV love you so much." "Cut it out," Hutch said, grinning. Darrell stayed where he was. He never showed you anything on the field, but he was making a big show now. And if his plan was to embarrass Hutch, it was a solid one. "Is that a direct order, Captain Hutch?" "Seriously, dude," Hutch said, "get up." "Just trying to treat you the same way the media does, Captain." Finally, he got to his feet, smiling at Hutch as he did, as if it were all a big joke. And Hutch figured it was, except for the way he kept leaning on Captain the way he did. Nobody on the team ever referred to Hutch that way, especially not Darrell Williams. Until now. They waited near second base while Mr. Cullen brought in Cody to do some running and sent Paul out to replace him in right, even though left was normally Paul's position. Hutch said, I'm sure the posts in Channel 12 have lost interest in me already." Still, Darrell wouldn't let up. "Big star like you," he said, still with that smile on his face. "They'll lose interest in Britney Spears or Beyonce before they lose interest in you." Before Darrell could say anything else, Mr. Cullen was calling out the next situation, and they were back to baseball. This should have been boring stuff going through one situation after another like this. Only nothing about baseball ever bored Hutch. Not even the waiting game. Not even the waiting time. It was why he never dogged it, even when some of the other guys did. Never just went through the motions. Never took shortcuts, even if the play was somewhere else, or if he thought Mr. Cullen might not be watching. He prided himself on being where he was supposed to be at all times, the way Jeter of the Yankees was. Hutch always remembered the famous play Jeter had made in the playoffs one time against the Oakland O's. The Yankees were down 0-2 in the first round, needing a win to keep the series going, when one of the A's hit a ball to the outfield. Jerry Giambi, Jason Giambi's brother, tried to score on the play. Looked like he would score. Only here came Jeter, the shortstop, flashing toward the first baseline, picking up the ball that had gone over the cutoff man's head, making that neat backhand flip to the Yankees catcher, Jorge Posada, who put the tag on Giambi. The Yankees came back to win the series, and lots of people thought Jeter's play turned the whole series around. Hard to say for certain. What was certain was this: Jeter was where he was supposed to be, backing up the cutoff man. He was able to make one of the most famous plays in Yankees history, baseball history, because he did something in the moment that he had probably done hundreds of times in a drill that a lot of his Yankees teammates probably thought was more boring than ballet. So, Hutch kept going to the right place today, even though most of the action seemed to be running through Darrell. When Darrell made a pretty amazing relay throw of his own to the plate from his knees, getting Cody at the plate when he should have had no shot, Hutch said, "You the man, D." Darrell responded in a voice loud enough to be heard at the Little League field next door. "Oh, no, Captain. How can I be the man when you the man?" Hutch decided then he was basically going to shut up for the rest of practice. Darrell seemed locked on this captain routine no matter what Hutch said. Mr. Cullen gave them a break a few minutes after that, told them to go get a drink because when they were done with their little break, they were going right into what he called extreme infield. Just about everybody on the field except Hutch groaned at that particular news bulletin. Extreme infield, the Cardinals do, was as much a drill for hard base running as it was for fielding the ball and making the proper plays.